Hi everyone, it's Thursday, and as I said in my opening comment, I always try to give you guys a little bit of a sort of like blurb, sort of from the prof's office kind of thoughts as you get ready to sit down and write your first round of discussion posts over the course of the week. This week we're really dealing with two particular kinds of questions, right? One broadly theoretical, and then one pretty that seeks to apply that to a particular situation today. The broadly theoretical point is that in international relations, there's this really interesting tension, right? At the end of the day, there is absolutely no center to the international system. There is not a central organization that controls the behavior of states. There are not any institutions with the kind of power that can enforce regulations on sovereign states. Those don't exist really. And the interactions between states are quite thin. They don't have the same sort of deep social interactions that individuals have at the local level. But nonetheless, they tend to adopt what look like ordered patterns, right? And in a response to Nicholas, I got into this a little bit, right? We can think about the Cold War as an international order. And that order, the stable pattern of behavior between states, was really a byproduct of the balance of power between the United States and the Soviet Union. The post-Cold War order, again, see that order, also existed, right? That was really marked by the preponderance of US power and its ability to enhance the remit and importance of a series of institutions globally and adopt and the international relations, the way that states interacted with each other in these two instances varied, right? They were deeply shaped by the nature of that order. And that's going to be something that we refer back to over the course of the term, right? What are the things that order international behavior, right? In a very thin sort of sense, right? And as you think about the nature of international order, that's where I really want you to sort of think about, like, what do you think it is today that orders international behavior, right? That provides these repetitive interactions between states. And then there's an application one. There's this question about the war in Ukraine, right? And why Russia chose sort of this period in time to conduct the war. And that, I think, is a really good way of thinking about that question, right? So there's a lot sort of being discussed about how the sort of role of NATO, Russia's relationship to the West, its economic downturn after the Cold War all shape this, right? But one of the questions that we always have to grapple with is, well, states say a lot of things and they may or may not think a lot of things, but what really matters is the conditions under which they think they can achieve them, right? And a lot of those grievances that Putin has, these are not new. They've existed for decades and decades and decades. Why now? Why are these boiling over now? Why is Russia actually sort of thinking that it can make these revisionist claims now when really it tried to avoid doing it in the past, right? That would suggest that either there's a miscalculation, that Russia doesn't necessarily have made all the calculations about the international system and how it would respond, or maybe there's something changing about the nature of international order right now. Maybe something is altering the stable pattern of interaction between states, and that's leading to this kind of outcome. And that's one of the really important things that you'll get from the Waltz reading, right? About how war is sort of a pluripotential thing about international politics. What we're trying to figure out is, well, why do states do it at particular times? And his argument is they do it under particular structural considerations, which means when the order is. So when you think about those two discussion forums, try to marry them together that way. Try to think about, well, what do you think the international order is right now? Is it the same as the post-Cold War? Is it changing? Is it altering? And then secondarily, how does that help us explain why Russia is behaving this way right now as opposed to in the past? Really looking forward to it. Also, there's a few other things that go along with these announcements. Make sure you scroll down, take a look at those. And I'm looking forward to seeing the conversation develop over the coming days.